All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Football Podcast. And for the final part of the show, we are going to go through some of the latest news in free agency. Again, nothing crazy. I think the craziness has ended for the moment. But there were a couple of signings that I wanted to touch upon and some others as well. Also a retirement, which I will get into after I go through the signings here. So Chase Young, he signed with the Saints on a 1-year, $13 million contract. So the Saints add a pass rusher. Obviously split time last year with the Commanders and the 49ers. And yeah, there were some questions about his effort. Again, I don't have to go through the play in the NFC Championship game. But, in the Super Bowl, he looked great. He recorded 7.5 sacks and 15 quarterback hits in 2023. But yeah, he was in kind of a rotational role with the 49ers. So yeah, I mean the Saints add to their defense. So I think that helps them. So there was that. Then you had the 49ers. Speaking of them, they bring in a backup quarterback. They sign Josh Dobbs to a 1-year contract. And he ended up finishing the season with 2,400 yards passing, 2,464 passing yards, 13 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions across 12 starts in 2023. So yeah, he's going to be the backup to Brock Purdy. And yeah, he bounced around a little bit. Was with the Cardinals. Well, actually, I think he started out the year at least like he was with the Browns, and then the Cardinals got him, and then the Cardinals traded him to the Vikings because the Vikings needed a quarterback when Kirk Cousins got hurt. And, he came in relief for Jaren Hall because Jaren Hall got hurt against the Falcons. He wins that game, plays well against the Saints, and you thought, okay, maybe the Vikings, they're going to somehow find their way into the playoffs, and that just ended up not happening. So now he backs up Brock Purdy. I think it's a great spot for him. He's with the 49ers, so so that was another signing that happened. Also, the Cowboys, they made a couple of moves. They released Leighton Vander Esch, and they released Michael Gallup. And Leighton Vander Esch actually announced his retirement at 28 years old, and that was due to a neck injury that he suffered. And yeah, he's dealt with some injuries over the course of his career, but unfortunately he had to call it a career because, again, injuries. And this was a quote by him in an article I'm looking at currently. So this is what he said in a statement. He said, "I love the game of football so much, and my body won't cooperate any longer. I cherished every moment of my NFL career, and it has been such a blessing to play the game for as long as I have played. This year, things may look a little different for me, but the sole focus is being a great husband and father for my loving family." And yeah, it's unfortunate when you have to hear, players say that because, they still want to play. It's just, the body's not cooperating. Then yeah, you just can't do it. And that happens to a lot of players. You look at Andrew Luck and him retiring. Jason Kelsey, he probably could have still played, but I think, how his body felt factored into it. So it happens to a lot of players. And, Vander Esch, when he first came onto the scene, he looked like he was going to be a good player for the Cowboys. And he was a good player for the Cowboys. But, it's just unfortunate that, he had to call it a career early because, like you said, his body just was not cooperating with him. And again, neck injury, that forced, I remember David Wilson, the Giants' old running back in 2012. He didn't really play that long because, he suffered a neck injury. And Vander Esch is only 28 years old. So, it's, again, like I said, it's unfortunate to hear it, but again, he's making the right decision. And, so wish him nothing but the best. But, so that was a recent retirement. So let's go through some of the other signings. So actually the Bills, they signed, they gave Taron Johnson a contract extension, one of their corners. They signed him to a 3-year, $31 million deal. And again, like I talked about earlier in the show, the Bills got rid of some guys on defense. Jordan Poyer, Tre'Davious White, guys in their secondary. So Taron Johnson's one of the last guys remaining. So they bring him, or not they bring him, but they extend him. They also signed Yash Nyman to a 2-year, $8 million deal at tackle. I think that's how you pronounce it. I pronounce his name. I apologize if I didn't pronounce his name right. But, yeah, so they bring him in. Oh, no, that was the Panthers that did that. Yeah, because I have, like, all the teams listed. So the Panthers did that. So, yeah, they added another offensive lineman. That was, like, I guess that was, like, the third one they added this offseason. The Bengals, they signed Sheldon Rankins. I think I did talk about that. He replaces DJ Reader, who signed with the Lions. Aaron Lynch had a workout with the Browns. He used to play for the 49ers. I haven't heard his name in a while. The Cowboys actually did make a move. They brought back Rico Dowdle on a 1-year contract, so they added another running back to their backfield. Because I think it was just Deuce Vaughn on their depth chart. But yeah, so they bring him back. Because obviously they didn't bring back, Tony Pollard. And, I mean, that's probably a position that they end up addressing in the draft. And they're probably going to have to go out and, draft a left tackle as well because, now you lost Tyron Smith. So, yeah, they do sign, they re-sign Rico Dowdle. The Raiders, they actually signed Alexander Mattison to a contract. With Josh Jacobs leaving, you have Zamir White. But you need another running back, so they bring in Alexander Mattison. And, yeah, I mean, he had a disappointing 2023. I think we were all, well, not all of us, but I know I was. I was expecting, big things out of him. Now with him taking over as the lead back now, with them letting go of Dalvin Cook. And that just really didn't pan out. So now he's with the Raiders. Change of scenery. Let's see what the Raiders end up doing. I mean, is Zamir White going to be the lead back? Are they going to, draft a running back? We'll have to see. But yeah, they bring in Alexander Mattison. I mean, nothing really else. The Saints signed Nathan Peterman, I guess, to be a backup quarterback. Yeah, I mean, there's not really, again, nothing else really groundbreaking. The Commanders they signed Jamison Crowder. Was with a few teams. Well, was with the Commanders, was with Washington. Then he's with the Jets. He was with the Bills. I know the Giants. They brought him in, but now he's back with Washington. Also, Andres Pete, the Saints' former guard. He was visiting with the Titans, so we'll see what ends up happening if they end up signing him. But yeah, I mean, nothing really. Again, no big signings. I think we're kind of past all of that, unfortunately. But I think like the big moves, I guess, or the big things that happened was Leighton Vander Esch retiring, Chase Young signing with the Saints, and again, I mean, I guess Josh Dobbs, going to the 49ers to back up Purdy. So. But, yeah, just a minor stuff. Well, and then, like I said, Taron Johnson signing that contract extension with the Bills. So, but, yeah, I mean, there's still guys out there. I mean, Odell Beckham Jr., he's not going back to the Ravens. So we'll see where he could potentially go. I mean, does he go play for the Jets and Aaron Rodgers? I mean, do the Jets go and sign Odell and Mike Williams? Do they do that? You still got Clowney out there, Trent Brown. Yeah, I mean, there's still some guys out there, that are looking for new homes. But, yeah, I think the craziness is over. Unless T. Higgins ends up getting traded, I think really we're waiting till the draft for the craziness to pick up. But, yeah, I mean, last week was just, I mean, it was unreal, the amount of moves that were made. And, the amount of running backs that changed teams and the quarterback carousel, it just it was a wild week. But, yeah, now we got a long way to go until the NFL draft at the end of April. So, but, yeah, I mean, all the quarterbacks pretty much moved. I mean, I guess we'll wait and see if Zach Wilson ends up going somewhere or the Jets just flat out release him. But, yeah, I mean, Justin Fields got traded. That question's been answered. Kirk Cousins signed. with the Falcons. I mean, again, like I said, all the running backs. I mean, changing teams: Saquon to the Eagles, Josh Jacobs to the Packers, Derrick Henry to the Ravens. I mean, it's just unreal. Definitely a crazy offseason, but we're not done yet. We still got the draft coming up. What teams are going to end up doing there, and then shortly after that, the schedule comes out. So, I mean, I know I keep talking about it, but yeah, we're going to get to that point. So, but like I said, yeah, there wasn't a lot of big things that happened yesterday, but yeah, I mean, again, just to update you guys on some of the latest moves, even though they aren't earth shattering. But hopefully something else happens. You never know. I mean, that's like I said at the end of the week. Last week I was like, oh, we'll see, and then what ended up happening? Justin Fields gets traded, and Aaron Donald retires. I mean, it's just a lot happened over the weekend. But again, that's the NFL. The NFL, really, even when it's not football season, it still finds a way to grab your attention. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, let me know. Make sure to leave a comment on the videos. I'll make sure to have up the show broken down into 4 parts, 4 segments before the end of the day. Get to work on that. Make sure to pay attention to the shorts that come out throughout the day. Again, hopefully, I mean, I usually just record them and I'll schedule them so they'll be posted throughout the day. So hopefully nothing happens, from now till tomorrow. But again, you never know. So yeah, I'll get to work on that. So make sure to pay attention to that. Make sure to like all that, comment. And like I said yesterday, make sure to check out the other shows as well. I will be making a guest appearance on the Chip Shot Football Podcast with our host Manny, tomorrow. His show is, I believe it's at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So it's a little late for me. Well, not really late, but still, it's, because I'm used to, being on at, in the morning. But, yeah, so I'll be making an appearance on that. So, again, his show is at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure to tune in. So I'll be on there for the first, half hour of the show. So make sure to tune in for that. And, of course, you'll have my show tomorrow. Of course, same time, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So, yeah. But, great show, as always. Again, let me know what you guys think about all the stuff we talked about. The Kenny Pickett stuff. The 2021 draft class. Marquise Brown and his comments on joining the Chiefs. And, of course, let me know what you guys think about, some of the latest moves, even though they weren't, again, that big. But, let me know what you guys' thoughts are, because I like to interact with the viewers. And, again, like I said, make sure to check out the other podcasts as well on the network. We'd really appreciate it. But yeah, that is pretty much it from me for today. Again, we'll be back again tomorrow, same time, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. And until then, I'm your host, Kenneth Grunfelder, signing off from the GSMC Football Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Sports Network. Have a good day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.